The Minnesota Vikings hit lightning in the fourth round in the 2021 NFL Draft at pick 119. Yes, that was Rick Spielman's final draft. Hitting on King Kene Nwangwu, the best kick returner in the National Football League, coming out of Iowa State, and he's quickly becoming a huge asset on special teams for Matt Daniels and the Vikings. And 2022 second-team All-Pro, should have been in the All-Pro conversation 2021, and he's just been an absolute monster in the third phase in that regard. And throughout his NFL career, NFL best 28.2 yards per kick return and 3 touchdowns trace over the past 2 seasons, leading the league. But in the running back department, it's been sort of scarce. And yes, the Vikings have had Dalvin Cook. They've had Alexander Mattison over the last 2 years, but only 22 carries in the regular season during his career, 3.4 yards per carry, also 6 catches for 30 yards, 0 touchdowns on 7 targets. So is he only a special teamer, or is he going to be a guy that can rise up and be a contributor on offense? That is a major question. But the Vikings are pretty damn deep at running back. Whether Dalvin Cook is back or not, you have Madison back on a 2-year deal. You have Ty Chandler healthy off a broken thumb last year. The scat back coming out of UNC, also at Tennessee. I think he's going to get some work. Dwayne McBride, the guy that everyone sees as huge value in the draft, could come in and be an impact on the first 2 downs, which is also where King Kene would be doing his work if he gets involved. So it's a little bit crowded, especially if the Vikings work something out with Dalvin Cook. And also, let's not sleep on the fact that Kwesi has been quietly assembling a number of players with kick return experience. Ty Chandler, last year 5th round pick, 2022, was a Kwesi draft pick, 38 kick returns in college. Also returned kicks in the preseason, was kick returner number 2 behind King Kene. Wide receiver Brandon Powell came in as a free agent this year, 57 career kick returns, including taking one to the house against the Vikings. Wait, no, was that punt? Doesn't matter. Malik Knowles, 2023 UDFA Kansas State, supremely talented kick returner, 27.7 yards per kick return in college, 3 touchdowns, as well as Jalen Reagor, who the Vikings acquired in a trade with the Eagles last year. His contract is fully guaranteed for this year, so who knows, but he did have 12 kick returns in 2021 with the Eagles. Of course, none with the Vikings because the Vikings have Kene. But question is, would the Vikings potentially move on from Kene Nwangwu if they get the right offer in trade? Now, the big question goes back to Iowa State. So when he was in Ames, of course, David Montgomery was there his first couple of years, and then Breece Hall was there for his last couple of years. So he was never the running back 1, but he was a dynamic kick returner at Iowa State there as well. Just never really got the time of day on offense. And the thinking was because of those top-tier running backs ahead of him on the depth chart. That's why Matt Campbell never gave him the rock. Fully understand that. But what if King Kene just is going to be a great special teamer and is never really going to be an integral part of the offense? Like it could be an is what it is sort of situation. Kwesi should be working the phones because the Vikings have obviously been stacking up at the running back position even after Kene was acquired in the 4th round 2021, because remember, drafted by Spielman, not Kwesi. So Kwesi drafted Chandler. He drafted McBride. He traded for Jalen Reagor. He brought in Malik Knowles. He signed Brandon Powell, etc. So maybe Kwesi is going to be weighing his options at this point, because the way that you execute trades at this stage of the offseason and into training camp is you look at positions of abundance, you look at scarcity out in the league, and teams could be interested in a mama I can change him running back, as well as literally the best kick returner in the National Football League. And the Vikings, Kwesi has done a pretty good job so far acquiring a future draft pick. So you do get that extra 4th from the Lions. In the Hawkinson trade, you do give up a 3rd, but you did pick up that extra 5th from the Browns, enhancing some late round picks in 2025, as well as you got that 5th rounder from trading down with the Chiefs in the 2023 draft. So, if a team comes in and looks at King Kene Nwangwu and he sees the best kick return in the National Football League, and Matt Daniels is confident that they can work with guys like Ty Chandler or Powell or Knowles or Reagor to replace him, even though 1-for-1 it's going to be tough, but it could take a village to replace the best kick return in the National Football League. There could be value. And teams could be sniffing around. They could see King Kene as a running back asset as well. And if Kwesi is able to finesse a 3rd round pick, like a late day 2 selection, I think that he has to think about it. I think that he really has to think about it because the Vikings right now, knocking on all the wood, they do have depth at running back. They do have depth at competent kick returners. So it could be a thing, even though I don't want it to be. But Kene is heading into his third year. Do I see him extending long term? Who knows? Also, you have to take into account that the kick return is essentially being neutered, probably going to be phased out. Eventually, I think the NFL will pick up on the XFL's 4th and 15 play as opposed to an onside kick, as well as just phasing the kick return out of existence altogether. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know. Like I said, if Kwesi gets the call and he gets something significant, I think that he has to strongly consider it because of the depth that they have at running back at the moment in time. But your thoughts are thoughts. Could the Vikings trade third-year running back as well as the best kick returner in the National Football League, King Kene Nwangwu? I'd rather not, but, let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.